In this video, we shall be looking at photosynthesis. Looking at photosynthesis as one of the concepts in biology. Photosynthesis is actually a biological process that occurs in organisms that are green. Actually, it occurs in green plants, algae, and some bacteria that are green in color. That is, they have that color green. And that color green, or that particular thing, pigment that makes the color to be that particular organelle to be green in color, is what we refer to as a chloroplast. So invariably we're saying that photosynthesis takes place in organisms that contains or they have chloroplast. And with the chloroplast, those organisms are able to tap energy. That is, they're able to tap energy from sunlight and use it to manufacture or to produce their own food. Photosynthesis is actually an essential process in producing food. It is not only important for photosynthesis is not only important for the plants that produce and manufacture food, but it is also important for organisms. It supports organisms on Earth. Like for example, when plants produces organisms, when they produce their own food, they'll be able to grow very well. And you have some organisms that will eat plants, and when they eat plants, you have another organisms that will feed on these organisms that feed on plants. Like for example, when the green plants are able to manufacture their food on their own, they'll be able to grow very well and produce, increase, and with that, organisms such as human beings will also be able to have something to feed upon. Human beings will feed on plants directly, and we also feed on organisms that feed on plants, animals that feed on plants. So we are able to say that photosynthesis is an essential process for producing food and oxygen in order to support organisms. Now, there are certain factors that make photosynthesis to take place. One of the factors is sunlight. You know, the energy has to be tapped from sunlight. Then carbon dioxide concentration, there must be enough concentration of carbon dioxide, and chlorophyll, which is present inside chloroplast, must be present. Though that means that the process cannot take place in organisms that do not possess, that do not have a chlorophyll or chloroplast. Then another factor that is important is the availability of water. Now, let's look at the different stages of photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis is actually made up of two main stages. We have the light dependent stage and the light independent stage. The light dependent stage actually is the stage of the photosynthesis. We can say it's the first stage of photosynthesis, and is the one that requires light. That is, the light is very important. It actually occurs in the thylakoid membrane of the chloroplast, and this thylakoid membrane is inside the chloroplast, and inside the chloroplast we also have what we refer to as the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll absorbs light from sunlight, and when it absorbs light from sunlight, the energy, which is the light energy that is being absorbed from the sunlight, will be used to break the water molecule into oxygen and hydrogen ions. You know, the water molecule is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. That's why we normally say that the chemical composition of water is H2O. So it contains hydrogen and oxygen. So the light energy that is absorbed during the light stage will be used to break down the water molecules in there. That is, the water molecules that are present in the plant into oxygen and hydrogen ions. And those we describe as hydrolysis. So after this one, we have the electrons that are released from the hydrogen, the electrons that are released, and the hydrogen ions from the hydrolysis. They are actually being absorbed by the energy carrier, that is the NADP plus, that is the NADP ion. And this occurs, you have series of electron transport chain for this to take place. So because or due to this series of electron transport chain, you have the NADP plus becoming a NADPH, which is a nicotinamide adenine nucleotide phosphate. Um, it becomes, when it is NADP plus, it is an ion. It is not complete. But when the hydrogen ion, combine with it, that is when it now becomes an NADPH, which we refer to as the nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Then we also have the adenine diphosphate, that is ADP, which will be, that is absorbed. We also absorb the energy and convert to ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. So we now have the outcome of the light dependent stage to be NADPH, which is a nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and ATP, adenosine triphosphate. These two, we move to the next stage of a photosynthesis, which is a light independent stage. These two, that is the NADPH and the ATP, they move to the next stage, which is referred to as a light independent stage. The light independent stage does not require light, though it may take place while the sunlight is on, but it doesn't require light, and that is why it's referred to as the dark stage. It occurs, actually, it takes place in that part of a chloroplast that is referred to as the stroma, and it uses the energy, like I said the other time, from the last stage, which is the ATP and the NADPH. And at this time, this is the time that carbon dioxide is also being absorbed by the plant. So the carbon dioxide will be absorbed by the plant, enter the chloroplast from the atmosphere, and when this one happens, you have a particular enzyme that is present in the Calvin cycle, which is referred to as a rubisco. It's an enzyme, a very essential enzyme, which helps in the series of combination of carbon dioxide to what we refer to as carbon dioxide plus the IUBP to produce a 2,3 carbon molecules. And this leads to series of reactions. You have series of reactions, series of combinations that gives rise to different carbon molecule compounds. And at the end of the day, we have a 6 carbon molecule compound being formed, which is a glucose. The energy for the series of reactions are actually from the NADPH and the ATP. And these energy carriers also regenerate the RBP in the cycle. That is, in the Calvin cycle, the the energy carriers, the NADPH and the ATP, help to regenerate the RUBP to continue in the next photosynthetic act. So it converts back to ADP plus P and NADP plus. Then uh, you have these ones going back again into the last stage to continue the process of photosynthesis, because the process of photosynthesis is a continuous cycle that happens continuously, because that is what makes plants to live and the plants to continue to grow. So when they produce food, they feed on their own food that they produce, they will grow and they will continue to multiply. We have the basic equation that is normally used to represent photosynthesis. We have 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water plus the light energy happening in the presence of chlorophyll, then in the presence of, yes, in the chlorophyll, and this gives rise to C6H12O6, and oxygen is also being given off in this process. Then you also have this one's taking place too. Thank you.